sometimes you can do more and you can lose it all if you're not careful. How do you go from 0 to 5, not to 15, 20? If you are in business, you have to either sell it or pass it to your kids. The sale number matters at all when it comes to business size. They were doing $12 million a year and they could not pay their sales guys. Anthony Delmedico did not sell his business, and most storm-chasing contractors face that problem. And I sold $10 million job to Michael Jordan. What's up, insiders? In this video, we're gonna go over best and worst roofing business sizes. I'm gonna explain to you why I believe that $4 or $5 million is absolutely the best roofing business size that you can build. Recently, I had a big interview with Kevin Delaney, man who have sold his roofing business to Fortune 500 company. And the conversation actually was a couple hours. Besides the interview, behind the scenes, we have a lot of interesting talks, and we start talking about the size of the companies. And I told him that, about my roofing business that I sold, that we're doing $4 or $5 million. And he told me, Dmitry, this is the best size. And if he would do it again, he would absolutely focus on building $3 to $6 million. $4 or $5 million is a perfect size, not only for a roofing business, but also for HVAC and general construction business. Yet, I do see a big controversy in the marketplace today. We have a lot of 8-figure masterminds. So many people are focusing, selling these blueprints, these classes, these conferences that strategically wants to sell you 8-figure, 10 million plus, how to build this huge, massive company. And I'm gonna challenge them. I'm gonna challenge them with respect. I have a lot of books here. Joe Radcliffe's Sell the Job, Lee Haight, Growth Secrets. We'll talk about that. This is actually a pretty interesting book, Roofing Construction and Estimated by Daniel Edhison. Studied when I was passing my test to become Florida contractor back in the day. Great book on accounting and stuff. And a few others. Anthony Delmedico with his book. I don't have it here, but it's digital. And I want to kind of briefly introduce to you a lot of case studies to support my numbers, why I believe that $3 to $5 million is a sweet spot, why I personally believe that $10 million is one of the most dangerous size for any roofing business, and why this one is also one of the hardest, $1 to $2 million. But first, I want to go over how I rate these different sizes. First, I always look at the work-life balance. Second is profitability. Can you be profitable at that size? Then how sustainable that size is, that location. Then is it going to be easy to sell? Also, is it repeatable? If you build $5 million business or $15 million business, can you repeat it in other markets? Is it easy to scale? Stress level for the business owners and for team players, and also risk. And if you study other businesses, like for example, if you study fast food, if you study McDonald's, they figured it out. Like average McDonald's will do about $3 million. Same thing, I believe, is with the roofing business. If you're in a smaller market, nothing big, $3 to $5 million is going to be very comfortable. You can actually do it with, 4 or 5 people. You can net 10%. And by the way, you should always shoot for at least 10% net profit. Now, let's talk about early on the hardest time in business. It's from 0 to $2 million. I remember on my second year, I was doing about $1.3 million in sales. And I remember all the struggles. It was one of the hardest years in business. That's the first time I reached out to and started seeking help of mentors. And that's where Rodney Webb stepped in and helped me tremendously, because first $1 million, it's almost like a honeymoon in business. It's better than having a full-time job. Now you work for yourself, so you kind of have this freedom. You don't have a lot of employees, you're making good money. But then when you're going from $1 million to $2 million, you have too much work, way more than you can handle yourself. So now you have to hire people, and you don't have money to pay everyone you're hiring yet. So what's happening is you start growing, your overhead is growing, but your income is not there yet to support it. That's why first couple $1,000,000 is very, very hard. Now, when you pass that, when you actually go from 2 million to 5 million, that's like one of the hardest transitions in the roofing business, because you have to scale, you have to truly delegate, you have to start hiring managers, you cannot wear all the hats by yourself. And once you get to $5 million, you can have a team of 5 doing 5 million year in, year out, not relying on storms, not relying to, any influx of work, because work is already there, especially if you're in the residential retail market like Minneapolis, Colorado. You can sustain that number for a long time. The problem I have with the $10 million mark, and this is what I have seen by so many companies around me. I'll give you a couple of examples. To Serve Contractor, we did a story on them a couple of years ago. They were doing $12 million a year, and they could not pay their sales guys. Like their average sales guy at To Serve Contracting at the size of $12 million would make like $60,000. And a lot of storm chasers have a hard time paying their salespeople, paying their bills. They're spreading way themselves too thin. A lot of times they actually don't make a lot of profit at all, if anything. We just did a story on Excel Roofing. They were north of 10 million. They're like 18, $20 million, and they went out of business. So why it's happening? Few reasons. One of the main reasons that $10 million is so crazy, because you in order to scale to that, you have to hire a lot of people, a lot of employees. You have to have production managers, and you have to hire a lot of crews. Your quality control has to grow as you grow, and you have to rely on salespeople. Technically, anybody can do $10 million, but to make profit on $10 million, it's very hard. Lee Haid, for example, teaching, I guess it's 8-figure masterminds, whatever, but I know he's trying to help contractors $10 million. And by the way, I'm not saying that Lee Haid, Delmedico, or Hunter Ballou, or any of these guys are bad guys. It's just, I'm trying to capture what they're teaching and show to you what it looks like in real life. Like, for example, Anthony Delmedico claims in his book that he's done $173 million in sales. At the end, he did not have sellable business. Anthony Delmedico did not sell his business, and most storm chasing contractors face that problem, because it's not scalable, it's not repeatable, it's not easy to scale, it's definitely not sustainable, it has a lot of stress, it has a lot of risk, and it has horrible work-life balance. So from business perspective, it's a horrible size, and that's why so many storm chasers, when they're done, they're just done. For me, if you are in business, you have to either sell it or pass it to your kids. There's no other reasons. You want to build the legacy. Once you pass $10 million, you have to build a solid brand that people love. I can name you probably 20, 30 companies that I visited in the last couple of years who do $5 million that you can buy. Like Roofmatic in North Carolina. They were doing $5 million, only a couple of years in business, 200 Google reviews. It's actually sellable business. Because when an investor wants to buy a business, he wants to buy potential profits. So if you're doing $5 million, you should be easily making at least $500,000 a year. And I'm gonna, at the end, explain to you how $5 million business roughly should break out. It's exactly what we teach at the roofing school. That business you can sell for a couple $1 million. Because again, do it for 3 years, any investor will look at it and say, all right, this business does $5 million a year, they do $500,000 profit, I'm gonna buy it. Now, $10 million business model in the storm restoration market, it's not the case. You rely on your salespeople. A lot of times, you are hostage of your salespeople. You're pretty much in their mercy if they sell for you or if you don't sell for you. A lot of times you're not profitable. I don't understand why storm chasers don't understand it. They do a lot of 10, 50, 50 profit split. So essentially, you don't have a business, you have organizations who just hires and fires whole bunch of independent contractors, both sales force and people who do the work. I'm here in Minneapolis, and I've seen a lot of companies who would come to this market and they would do 5, 10, 15, 25, back to 5. Where if you do it residential retail way, if you build it slowly, you should only be going up, you should never go down. Now, we have a lot of good guys who are teaching business, like guys like Jim Johnson, Randy Brothers, Rodney Webb, and those people who've been in business, sold the business, they are teaching the real numbers. We see more and more business coaches who come into place and they sell you their teachings. They're trying to convince you that what they teach is really, really good. And what I hate about it is we have a lot of dick measuring contests among roofers where people only look at a big number. People only look at the sale number. Well, let me ask you this question. The sale number matters at all when it comes to business size? I would say it doesn't. Once I reach $5 million mark, or 4 to 5, I would say, like, I was satisfied. My work-life balance was one of the best. I decided not to pursue $10 million. I had little kids. I did not want to build a bigger company, but so many contractors will try to belittle you, downplay you, say you're not important and you're not big. Listen, do not listen to anyone. If you're right here, if you're doing $2, $3 million and you're happy, your bills are paid, like I have so many guys in my network who would do $2, $3 million a year. They have rental properties. They never missed a payment to their suppliers. They never missed a payment to their employees or subs. They're happy people. And I see people from this crowd right here online, on social media, belittle them. Oh, who are you to have this argument? But now a lot of players here don't pay their bills, don't pay their suppliers, don't pay their salespeople, on the borderline of being a scam artist or Ponzi schemes or whatever you call them. And I'm not saying that anybody on the board is doing it, but I'm saying that big size companies should not be belittling small size companies because of the size, because they're bigger on sales. The real number and the only number that matters, it's the net profit. And the net profit is extremely predictable on the smaller $3 to $5 to $6 million scales. Grow a little bit more, you're gonna become more vulnerable. I've seen just this year alone, I've seen $30 million roofing company pretty much breaking even and almost losing money. I also have seen $22 million company, Excel Roofing, going out of business. I've seen more $10 million going out of business than ever. Lee Haight himself, author of Contractor Growth Secrets, he sent everybody's email in 2021 sharing the story how either in 2018 or 2019 he was doing $10 million a year, and in that email he said he did not have $1 million to pay ABC Supply. So while you can sell 8-figure mastermind, and he probably figured out later, and today he's running $50 million company, it's not jab at Lee Haight, but to think about it, how can you make $10 million and not to have $1 million to pay a supplier? And that's the reality today. You can do $10 million in business and still lose money, still lose profit, and lose your business. I'm gonna show you how you can become, anyone who's watching this video, if you've never sell a roofing job in your life, how you can become a sales coach in a roofing industry, how you can sell 8-figure masterminds. And this is what absolutely pisses me off. How many marketers come in and trying to teach us a business when they never have a business. They accidentally came in and sold a couple jobs and now they're trying to teach us. So let's say you can sell or pitch as a marketer, you can reach very famous person. I'm gonna go for my famous person, Michael Jordan. So let's say I find out that Michael Jordan has a lot of properties that need roofs. So let's say he has $30 million mansion, and let's say he has a couple of warehouses, whatever. So let's say I reach out to Michael Jordan. I say, hey Michael, you have $12 million worth of work, and I can help you. I can take care of all your roofing needs this year. And let's say you sell Michael Jordan $12 million worth of work for $10 million worth of business. Not a fact that you're gonna make profit. As a matter of fact, you probably will lose money. But on paper, here's something to brag about. You think about it, you're doing work for Michael Jordan. and you're doing it for $10 million. At the end of the year, you might be losing money, not to have money to pay $1 million to ABC Supply, so you will worth negative $1 million. But what you can do with that, if you really think about it, you can go on the internet. You don't have to tell Michael Jordan that you lost $1 million on his project, but you can go on the internet and say, hey, in this video, I will teach you how to build a $10 million company. My name is Dmitry and I sold $10 million job to Michael Jordan. Here's what's happening today. We have too many people who are only focusing on what they sold. I mean, think about it. And I try to have this debate with Anthony Delmedico. He's trying to convince people that he have done more than $10 million per year. I mean, the guy get kicked out from Minnesota. He get kicked out from Florida. He is one-star contractor. He has tons of disputes. He did not pay his suppliers. He did not pay his sales guys. But yet, he is this guy. He is broke. He is a bad contractor, but he's teaching others. And this is what's happening. We have way too many people on the stage, people who failed in the roofing business, now teaching business to others. They're belittling smaller contractors, and they're trying to bully them by their numbers. I'm a big shot. Look at me. Look at the car I drive. Look how successful I am. And all they do is talk about bigger numbers that they've done. Yes, you might have done $25 million. You know, Excel Roofing done $25 million than my company did, but my company have been sold and they're still gonna do $4 or $5 million this year. In 2017, when I started teaching that, this is exactly what I thought. Like, I did not want to teach anyone how to become $10 million company. You can choose your path. If you can build $5 million company, you can actually make it repeatable and you can open more locations just like McDonald's. You can build 3 $5 million companies in 3 different cities. Once you build one and it's working without you, you can do it in other states, but you have to make a decision if that's the headache you want. I know a lot of owner-operators of restaurants, of fast food chains. Some McDonald's and Chick-fil-A owners have 2 locations, 1 location. Some of them have 15, 20. This is up to you. This is your work-life balance. You get to decide. But first, you have to learn how to build one location. And so many contractors are focusing on this number that they will never reach and shouldn't be even trying to reach. Like, why are we chasing $100 million when we cannot build $5 million? One of the biggest case studies that we've seen in the last 5 years actually was Graham Desert's Roofing 101. If you remember Graham Desert, and I absolutely love and respect Graham, we all do. Great guy, great mentor. When he was here, I would argue he was very successful and he was doing about $5 million in Kansas City. That business was sellable, it was repeatable, it was sustainable, it was profitable, all of the above. But Graham decided to go further. And I interviewed him 3 or 4 times. I've been in his business. I would argue that if he would close it and sell it back in 2019, he would be a happy camper. But Graham Desert decided to go big. He decided to be in 49 states. And I remember our last big interview before he filed bankruptcy, 6 months prior bankruptcy, he said that he wants to be in 49 states. He was doing $12 million a year right here in 12 locations. So you go from one good location doing $5 million to $12 million in, I don't know, like 10, 12 states or something like that, and then out of business, and then you lose it all. So this is exactly what I'm talking about. And Graham is an awesome guy. And I think what he did is maybe spread himself too thin. We all make mistakes. But this is just to support that sometimes you can do more and you can lose it all if you're not careful. Numbers don't lie. People do. It's not that hard to do $10 million. It is hard to do $10 million and pocket $1 million. Eric Rena is here. Roofmatic is here. I can name you so many companies who are extremely happy, they don't want more, they found their happy medium. They have amazing work-life balance, they're extremely profitable. I know business owners who do $5 million a year who pocket $1 million every year. And I also know people who do $15 million and they barely scratching $500,000. Be very careful why and how fast you want to grow, because this is very dangerous territory. I want you to be very careful with the books and the message. I think a lot of times, and I have the same problem too, at the last conference, number one feedback that we got from our audience when people were coming to us at the end, they were telling us that it's great that we put really big companies on the stage like Monarch Roofing, Martin Pettigrew, and Eustace Roofing, also $10, $15 million companies, but it took them 20, 30 years, not 5. So it's great that we can learn and touch and experience and listen to them. But people are asking us, how do you go from 0 to 5, not to 15, 20? Those are the smartest people with the smartest questions. Comment below if you don't agree with me. Comment below if it could be 10 for you. But I've been at hundreds of businesses. I talked to tons of business owners. And when it comes to one location, one operation in one city, this is the best size today. Now it's gonna vary also. Somewhere in Alabama, $5 million is going to be $3 million just because everything is cheaper. Somewhere in New York, it'll be $6 million. But overall, $4 or $5 million is pretty much perfect roofing business size. And if you're about to buy a course from anyone, I don't care what group you're about to sign up, I don't care who you're listening, what I see is people are buying, $10, $20, $40,000 courses to get them to 8 figures. Why would you want to learn from the guy who sold to Michael Jordan $10 million job that actually should be $12 million? If you build $5 million business, this is pretty much a business model, and obviously it varies, but this is pretty much perfect numbers for 2022. You should pay yourself about $120,000 a year. Then you want to have a general manager, because you don't want to work in the business, you want to work on the business, and general manager have to do everything daily. So you're going to pay him, let's say, as much as you pay yourself, $120,000 yearly salary. Then you're going to get production manager, person who will schedule your jobs, organize your crews, bullet permits, stuff like that, $80,000. Then you have office manager, person who will deal with the invoicing, a little bit of accounting, a little bit of paperwork, and you will have receptionist, $45,000 a year to answer your phone calls. On the $5 million mark, you will have about $500,000 that you can spend on salaries. With those numbers, you have very sellable business. Now, potential investor can come in and say, all right, I'm buying this business, let's say for $2 million. It's not a bad payout if you think about it for the owner. Because now that investor, let's say he wants to be owner-operator, he can actually pay himself yearly salary because he's seen how you've done it, and he knows it'll take him 3-4 years to get his money back from his business. So it's a simple math. You do $5 million a year, you're profitable, it's 3-4 times your net sales, not including your salary. So that owner knows he can pay himself $120 a year and the business will make at least $500,000. Now, this is also negotiable. If you're really good and really profitable and you're very efficient, you can make $600,000-$700,000. This is based on 10% net. I've seen companies on this size who've done 15 up to 20% net. That's $1 million in profit on a $5 million operation. Rarely you will see those kind of numbers on a $10 million plus business, especially those businesses that have absent owner who's all over the place and just selling courses. One of the biggest reasons I wanted to make this video, because we finally see capital come into roofing industry. You will have opportunities like this to sell your business to potential investor. Money will come, they're already coming in, you see it left and right, but you have to have your act together. You have to have your numbers together, understand them, understand your profit and loss statement, and it'll take you probably 2-3 years to build $4 or $5 million company, but if you stay focused, you will be able to sell it. If you focus on the $10 million mark, you might go for millions and then end up broke, like a lot of people who've done it, who's gonna be broke. I wanna see their net income. I want to see their returns. I want to see how much the business made and how much they pay for themselves. I don't care how much their business made, because this means nothing. Gross sales means absolutely nothing. Comment below, what do you guys think was the best business structure, what's the best business size, and what's the worst? I want to hear from you. I read all my comments. If you have any questions for me, comment below. If you have more questions about how to build $5 million business, I teach that in the roofing school, and the reason we stop it at 5 million, because that's what I've done, that's what I believe. This is cool. Once you build $5 million, you can take it wherever you want from there. That's all I have for you guys for today. Give it a like if you like this kind of content. I'll make more of them. I'll see you guys in the next video.